Thanks for joining us tonight on CoreTV Primetime News. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. In our major story, President Goodluck Jonathan taunts critics of the just concluded national conference, vows to implement communique. Also in this program, apprehension as faulty and abandoned vehicle on the highway of Yanya and Abuja suburb panics residents. Boko Haram overran police academy in Borno State. Outside Nigeria, British Prime Minister David Cameron suspects Britain could be killer of American journalist James Foley as sympathy grows around the world. And now the news in detail. President Goodluck Jonathan has assured delegates of the National Conference of his readiness to implement the final report. He made the pledge shortly after receiving the resolution of the conference in Abuja. President Goodluck Jonathan described the conference as a success, adding the delegates proved wrong those who expected it to fail. Earlier, conference chairman Justice Idris Kutige had noted that the president had no input in the outcome of the talk shop.
The discourse reflected our latest challenges. We will send the relevant aspects of the recommendations to the Council of State and, of course, the National Assembly that are arguing with me here, because both arms of government will work together to make sure that this report is transformed into our laws.
Let me state here categorically, and with the fear of Almighty Allah in my heart, that not once did you interfere or dictate to us. The only time we tried to consult the president during the conflict over voting percentages at the very beginning of the conference, we were told that the issue was the one for us to resolve.
There was a bomb scare on Thursday in Yanya, a suburb of Abuja, that had twice this year recorded bomb attacks. The apprehension was caused by an abandoned vehicle in the middle of a road, but it later turned out that it was a vehicle that broke down along the highway. The police later confirmed that what residents described as explosive devices were actually welding material. Northern Nigeria's riot police training academy, however, has been overrun by Boko Haram militants. Shots were heard after the militants arrived in their armored vehicles and on dozens of motorcycles. A police spokesman confirmed the attack, while a senior security source says it had not been possible to communicate with the academy since Wednesday. The Liman Kara College is near Gwaza town, seized by Boko Haram last week. Thousands have been killed across northeastern Nigeria since Boko Haram launched its violent campaign for an Islamic State in 2009. The militants have stepped up their attacks after being pushed out of their bases in Maiduguri, the capital of Borno State. In recent weeks, the militants have been moving from the rural camps and taking over substantial towns. The militants have been in control of Goza, which has a population of about 50,000 since the beginning of August. The August 9 governorship election in Osun may have come and gone, but events during the period are still playing out. One of these is the arraignment of a suspect, Victor Aladegolu, over impersonation as an officer of the Nigeria Police Force and Department of State Security Services in Ile-Ife. Rashid completes the story.
The 22-year-old Victor Aladegolu was paraded before presiding magistrate Olushola Aluko on a two-count charge of impersonating official of the Department of State Security and the police on one hand, and adorning the attire of the said security agencies on the other. He pleaded not guilty to the charges as one of the prosecuting counsels, Abiodun Olaide, made a graphical description of their alleged crimes.
Somebody wearing a uniform, police mark in front, DSS mark at the back, that will give you a signal that this is not a police officer. So when you see people like that, the court has the discretion to either grant bail or reserve it. Even if the bail is argued today, the court can still reserve its ruling. But what the court simply said is that they should go and file bail application formal, so that it will be argued on merit.
Magistrate Aluko ordered the suspect to be remanded in prison custody pending bail application from the defense counsel. One of the prosecuting counsels, Abiodun Alaide, speaks on the development as all efforts to speak with the defense counsel proves abortive.
If many of such people are in turn, the public is endangered. If you cannot identify who are the genuine security agents. So that's why we are shouting before the election, we don't want masked security men. And if you listen to Jega this morning, yesterday, he also condemned the use of masked security men for election. It is dangerous.
The case was, however, adjourned till the 12th of September. Rashid, CoreTV News.
Meanwhile, Osho State Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Sunday Akere, says the All Progressives Congress will take over at the center after 2015 general elections. The commissioner, who visited CoreTV News, hinges its confidence on the August 9 Osun governorship election won by the APC.
The outcome of the August 9 election in Osun has assured us that, yes, genuinely democracy will thrive in Nigeria, and that the APC is still the party of the people of the Southwest. One thing we know that our leadership will do is to mend whatever fences might be existing in Oyo, Ogun, Lagos, so that we will, as usual, record the maximum votes in these states in the Southwest. As for other states in Nigeria, I know that the victory of Ogbeni Aregbesola and the APC on the 9th of August in Osun is enough encouragement for them to know that, yes, they can do it and they will do it too. And APC will be the party at the center in Abuja come February 2015.
He added that the Aregbesola administration will build on its success at the poll to promote good governance and provide the needed democratic dividends for the people of Osun State.
Osun of our dream, the new Osun, with the land flowing with milk and honey, is here for a stay, and we pray that God, all of us, will make us partakers of the blessings.
The federal government says the 200 million naira approved for Lagos State to support Ebola containment is not part of the 1.9 billion naira earlier released to the Federal Ministry of Health. Health Minister Onyebuchi made the clarification in a statement issued in Abuja. He noted that the amount is a distinct and direct federal government support to the state and does not preclude other assistance that may be rendered by the ministry. Meanwhile, Nigeria's health authorities have been receiving financial and logistic support from the private sector in their bid to stem the spread of Ebola virus. Aside from Aluko Dangote Foundation's donation of 152 million naira, the Tony Elumelu Foundation has made a pledge of 50 million naira. Shell has also donated an ambulance to the Ebola Emergency Operations Center in Lagos, while Atedo Petersai has assured the authorities that his foundation would support affected private hospitals to the tune of 100,000 naira per bed space. Ekiti State Commissioner for Health Olushola Fasuba has warned health workers against spreading panic messages about the Ebola virus disease. He lamented that the panic message had led to the death of non-Ebola patients in the state. He says the health worker from Ogotun Ekiti, who had come to the state capital for an official assignment, slumped and later died because he did not receive medical attention. He spoke of how 4 different private hospitals rejected the patient due to SMS messages allegedly sent by some doctors, suggesting that it was an Ebola case. The commissioner recalled that similar misinformation recently caused row at the National Youth Service School camp in the state when a young corps member collapsed and the healthcare givers ran away on suspicion that it was an Ebola victim. He recalled that it took the intervention of his ministry to save the corps member from an avoidable death after he was left unattended for about 9 hours. Away from there to Ogun State, where the Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology, Segun Odubela, says the state government has postponed the resumption date for all primary and secondary schools in the state, earlier scheduled for September 15, 2014, to a date to be announced later. He says this was in response to the Federal Ministry of Education's directive that schools in the country should put resumption for 2014-2015 on hold in order to curb the spread of the deadly Ebola virus disease. Odubela urged parents and guardians to take proper care of their children and wards by monitoring their movement and engaging them in academic activities. Federal government vows to move against child abuse and baby factories. Join us for details of these and other stories after this time out. Don't go away.
Nivea Nourishing Body Lotion. Its effective formula with Hydro IQ gives your skin deep and long-lasting nourishment for skin that stays moisturized all day long. Look great, feel great with deeply nourished skin. Nourishing Body Lotion from Nivea.
I'm so happy every day because I'm healthy and strong. Playing, jumping, here I go. Scott's Emotion helps me grow.
A daily dose of Scott's Emotion, which combines omega-3, calcium, vitamins A and D, supports the healthy development of your child's brain and body. Scott's Emotion promotes active minds and strong immunity in growing children. New Scott's Orange Flavor Multivitamin Emotion.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime News.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
Welcome back. You're watching CoreTV Primetime News live from Lagos. The federal government is set to move against what it describes as modern forms of slavery in the country. Minister of Tourism and Culture Adam Duke lamented that centuries after the slave trade, modern slavery is taking roots in Nigeria. Duke said this during the 20th anniversary of the Slave Route Project. The minister was represented at the event by the Permanent Secretary in the ministry, Nkechi Ejele.
The spirit of a collective desire to raise the awareness of Nigerians to the harmful effects of all forms of slavery, that my ministry, in collaboration with some international organizations, such as UNESCO, established the National Committee on Slave Route Project. The specific objective of this project was to document all aspects of slave trade for posterity. All these efforts are geared towards keeping our memories alive and to safeguard the future of Nigeria, our dear country. Today, we're experiencing different forms of modern-day slavery, amongst which are child abuse, human trafficking, illegal trade in babies. But you may wish to know that the federal government considers the sale of babies as gross violation of human rights and is making effort to stop it. I wish to emphasize the federal government's unalloyed commitment to elimination of these heinous crimes.
Market men and women in Abuja on Thursday held a peaceful protest to register their displeasure over what they described as multiple taxation. The traders, who were keen to express their grievances, shunned the early morning rainfall to march on the headquarters of the Abuja Municipal Area Council headquarters. Speaking to journalists, the market leaders maintained that all efforts to meet with council officials were not successful, but the council leadership insists that they were not aware of their development.
This so-called tax erosion will come, chant them on the same heading, in several locations, with their little capital. And when they are coming, they come with heavily armed personnel, security forces. Thereby, if they refuse to pay, they are subject to several different kinds of abuses. So because of that, we've made an attempt, to see AMAC and Federal Revenue Service, inviting them to a forum to address the price of these women. We call the market room also to the forum. The forum was held in Yanya, where you had the separate participants for market and all that. During the forum, Federal Revenue Service sent 2 representatives. AMAC did not send any representative.
We have a consultant that is meant for collecting of the tax. Okay, I will agree with you because I'm receiving so many calls and so many complaints. Okay, but I don't attend to any complaint without any receipts. Okay, I can verify based on the receipts. When I get the receipt, and I will know, yes, this one is from AMAC and this one is not from AMAC. Okay. From there, we can withhold those that are fraud among them. Okay. So please, you can bear with us. Okay. You should write your complaint again, just as a reminder, and attach the receipts. Okay.
Meanwhile, the group was dispersed with assurances that the matter will be resolved. Back in Lagos, the Lagos State Governor Babatunde Fashola says taxation remains the only viable option at ensuring development in the face of dwindling oil revenue in the country. Fashola made this known while flagging off the Economic Empowerment Program for residents of the state. Abiola Oluwole was there. His report is presented from our studios.
Lagos, no doubt, is the most populated city in West Africa. This way of providing employment for the teeming population, the state has over the years ensured vocational training for residents. Speaking at the flag-off of the empowerment program, Fashola says lack of stable electricity is bane of economic development in the country. Nigeria, according to him, should also devise ways of halting the overdependence on oil revenue.
This is the only way we can really build a society. Whether you like it or not, this country cannot continue to depend on oil. Oil is a diminishing asset. One day it will finish. Even the states who are collecting derivation, 13% derivation, you will see them now thinking and looking for a day beyond oil. Some others are just collecting the thing as if it will never finish. When it finishes, market will close.
Deputy Governor Adejoke Orelope Adefilure says the expansion of the economic empowerment programs is in line with poverty elevation strategy of the state government.
This one, because of the exigencies of their work, some retirees, some grassroots women who are unable to stay too long because the minimum of the skill center is 6 months. So you can learn a trade for 6 to 8 weeks using your hands. So that the issue of I'm an housewife, I can't render any service to my husband, I can't help my children to school, I can't take good care of myself, will be a thing of the past.
Registration for the first phase of the program, expected to train 10,000 residents, begins on the 25th of August. Centers for the empowerment training are located in all the local government areas of the state.
We'll take another break and return with business news. Stay with us.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. And Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then news. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
Nigerians continue to
Night,
travel
the city of
in and
Lagos
out of
waits at the dog as all routes
to you on
Be the first to know.
CoreTV News.
From the north, south, east, west and around Africa, we break the news.
We are one Nigeria.
Now you can catch all the actions live as the news breaks. We are CoreTV News.
Welcome to CoreTV,
a 24-hour news station.
Welcome you to From the Ivory Tower and happenings around the country. Varsity teachers get to air their views. Students are actually not left out. We bring you intellectual ends from the events happening around you. It is dedicated to educating the populace with a spice of entertainment.
From the Ivory Tower, Tuesdays, only on CoreTV News.
Hello there and welcome to the world of business with me, Sabena Izuku. Nigeria's 2014 bond will be included in JP Morgan's Government Bond Index Emerging Markets on the 29th of August, in addition to 3 other bonds already listed. The JP Morgan added Nigeria to its local currency government bond index in 2012, making it the second African country after South Africa to be included in a widely followed index due to its improving liquidity level. Nigerian bond yields fell across maturities on the index announcement, with the benchmark 10-year bond yield slipping 22 basis point trade to 11.97%. JP Morgan added Nigeria's 2014, 2019 and 2022 bonds in October 2012, attracting up to $1.5 billion in portfolio inflows and raising profile of Africa's biggest economy among offshore investors. However, 2014 edition will increase Nigeria's weighting in the bond index to 1.83% at the end of August, 1.65%. The Bank of Agriculture, the successor of the defunct Nigerian Agriculture and Cooperative Bank, has generated no fewer than 2.42 million jobs in the 4 years ending December 2013. It was gathered that 470,945 persons and corporate bodies who borrowed a total of 18.2 billion naira from the bank generated over 2 million jobs in 2010-2013 period. The bank's lending operation featured the highest amount of 5.2 billion naira since 2010. In 2012, with 13,314 loan beneficiaries, creating 225,731 jobs. Also, about 334,000 borrowers received 4.3 billion naira and borrowed 1.5 million jobs. The federal government recently announced plans for partial privatization of both the Bank of Agriculture and the Bank of Industry, the 2 leading development banks in the country. The government says the decision to allow the banks access private funds, but the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry condemned the decision. The new computerization of operations by the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria may lead to actualization of the home ownership dream of contributors to the National Housing Fund. At the media interactive session in Abuja, the managing director of the Board of Agriculture, Gimba Kumo, says to improve operations of the National Housing Fund had brought about an increase in its collections by about 300% to 2.5 billion naira, up from 700 million naira 3 years ago. He says since assumption of office, the present at management of the Apex Mortgage Bank in 2010, the bank had been able to put in place processes aimed at easing the operations of the National Housing Fund and also making access to the loan facility by contributors less cumbersome. The other initiatives disclosed include negotiations with manufacturers to sell building materials like cement, roofing sheets, and rolls to developers at factory price, and broken mortgage facilities for buyers through the instrumentality of the Nigerian Mortgage Refinance Company and the primary mortgage lenders. The Central Bank of Nigeria has sold 70.64 billion naira in treasury bills of 3 months and 6 months maturities as an auction. The Central Bank on Wednesday sold 40.64 billion naira in the 3 months paper at 9.9% compared with the 10% at the previous auction, while it sold 30 billion naira in the 6 months debt note at 10.2%, same yield at the previous auction. Subscription stood at 122.32 billion naira compared with 88.13 billion naira demanded at the previous auctions. For non-performance in the last 6 months, 65 dealer member firms at the Nigerian Stock Exchange may be losing their trading licenses. According to the head broker-dealer regulations, Nigerian Stock Exchange Olufemi Shobanjo, and the statement noted that the Nigerian Stock Exchange is keen on retrenching the required catalyst to build a healthy and well-regulated market, so as to stimulate increasing levels of investors' confidence in the market. The move became necessary to enable Nigerian Stock Exchange sanitize and maintain the integrity of the capital market and further protect investors in Nigeria. The Nigerian Stock Exchange also believes that majority of prohibited practices in the stock market were carried out by these inactive firms. The Nigerian Stock Exchange also says the planned revocation of the dealer members' licenses were being pursued through Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) approved rules that authorizes the Nigerian Bourse to revoke the license of such inactive firms. On the stock market report, equity transaction on the Nigerian Stock Exchange ended on a negative note today. The Nigerian Stock Exchange All Shares Index depreciated by 22.21% to close lower at 41,767.35 basis points. Market capitalization dropped to close lower at 13.791 trillion naira. In all, a total of 182 million shares valued at 3.26 billion naira were exchanged in 4,105 deals. Report shows the 7-Up PLC topped the gainers chart, followed by GlaxoSmithKline PLC, Mobil PLC, Wapco PLC, and Zenith Bank PLC. On the other hand, Nestle PLC led the losers chart, followed by Total PLC, Guinness PLC, Guarantee Trust Bank PLC, and CAP PLC. Meanwhile, here are the top 5 trades. And that's it on business news. Coming up next is sport news with Brownson Uwena, who's going to be telling us some very interesting stories of it. Please stay with us.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website, www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then news. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
Power style, that's what he delivered. Usain Bolt storming, Puyol with a flying lead.
Go taking them out in the lead and really.
Very big thanks for joining us on Sport News tonight. I am Brownson Uwana. The Nigerian Football Federation has announced that its election to the board of the executive committee would no longer hold on August 26th. It has rescheduled it for the first week of September without mentioning an exact date. NFF Secretary General Musa Hamadu says the decision supersedes the earlier announcement by the Electoral Committee Chairman Anomi Biambo that the election will hold as scheduled on August 26th General Assembly. He explained that the proposal on a new roadmap will be brought before the Congress as part of preparation for the all-important elections. And now to the world of boxing. Nigerian boxer and Commonwealth light heavyweight champion Jude Hilo has lashed out at the government for neglecting the sport. Our correspondent has more in this report.
Boxing is a combat sport in which two people engage in a contest of strength, speed, reflexes, endurance, and will by throwing punches with gloved hands against each other. As interesting as the sport may seem, Commonwealth and light heavyweight champion Jude Hilo has lamented the poor state of boxing in Nigeria.
Most of Nigerians just focus on football mostly, instead of boxing, which we know that is the first Nigerian sport which brings glory to Nigeria in the olden days. Samuel Peter, he did well, everybody was happy. He got a world belt, everybody was happy. But at the initial stage, who knows how he started? He was managing here like others. Sometimes training without feeding here to get where he was.
Jude says that the sport must reach its summit in Nigeria or hands must be on deck.
That is what we are pleading for the federal government to put interest and watch what is happening in the boxing, because boxing is one of the important sports that Nigeria can produce. Look at when we went last time for Commonwealth. Then our wrestlers, they did well. You understand? They did well. Who knows? We have boys that can do perform like that. But we had boys that brought a lot of gold, a lot of medal to Nigeria. Likewise, in boxing, we're supposed to do the same, to support them. So that boys, there are boys that want to box, that are talented to box. But when you don't motivate them, how can they box?
Ahead is upcoming title defense. The boxer and trainer speaks of their preparation.
I'm preparing to defend the national title by next month, September. Then I'm preparing to go to Australia by November this year to meet the light heavyweight champion. I believe I go for my winning, even the national title and the Australian fight. I win the fight.
You know what he's doing, because the guy is very serious. That's why I work with him. He's a serious boxer, so I know with anybody can go place with any boxer.
As boxers continue to fight their way to the top, it is expected sports stakeholders will turn their attention from football to other sports.
After a springs marked by Real Madrid's 10th Champions League win and Spain's shock exit from the World Cup in Brazil, La Liga is set to kick off. CoreTV Sports take a look at the top team preparations for the La Liga.
The championship looks set to be dominated by Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid and Barcelona. League runners-up behind Atletico last season, Real Madrid are determined to snatch a top spot. They have signed 3 stars from this summer's World Cup: Germany's Toni Kroos, Costa Rican keeper Keylor Navas, and Colombia's star midfielder James Rodriguez.
I think we have a better team than that of last year because we have signed 3 players who will bring a lot of quality to the team. To take advantage of this quality, we have to work and make sacrifices like we did last year.
Spanish league champions and runners-up in the Championship League final. Atletico have reinforced their front line with the arrival of Frenchman Antonio Griezmann, the Croatian Mario Mandzukic, and Mexico's Raul Jimenez. But they lost some key players, notably their star striker Diego Costa, who is now with Chelsea.
Today our aim is to target Sevilla, Valencia and Bilbao. They are the team we will try to beat to qualify for a place in the Champions League.
Barcelona, meanwhile, want to forget last season. After only coming third in the league and being dumped out of the Champions League quarterfinals by Atletico, Barcelona have changed coach. Newcomer Luis Enrique is putting his trust in his players.
The determination they have shown in the training session, the ambition, their will, make me very optimistic. It makes me happy about the season and I have a lot of resources, a lot of options.
Barcelona made one of the biggest transfers of the summer by signing up Luis Suarez. The Hungarian striker, banned from official competitions for 4 months after biting Italian player Chiellini during the World Cup, could make his debut at the end of October when Barcelona take on Real Madrid in the season's first Clásico.
That wraps it on Sport News tonight. I am Brownsfield, one very big thanks for watching.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website, www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
One continent, 54 countries, over 2,000 languages, but united in similar interests. As news breaks, we give you in-depth analysis around Africa every Monday on CoreTV News.
Welcome back, and now to stories outside Nigeria. As the gale of condemnation over the killing of American journalist James Foley continues, British Prime Minister David Cameron has said the killer of the American journalist, though not yet identified, may be a British. Cameron says the British government will continue to work with both the Iraqi government and our allies to follow its well-laid-out framework for dealing with terrorism and help the people of Iraq and the region to fight the Islamic State. He says the killing is an appalling example of what extremism can breed, while also disclosing that Britain will take action against its citizens who have traveled to Syria or any other place in the world to take part in extremism. He, however, says the British government will not be rushed into any knee-jerk reaction on the issue.
We condemn completely the barbaric and brutal act that has taken place. And let's be clear what this act is. It is an act of murder, and murder without any justification. We have not identified the individual responsible on the video, but from what we've seen, it looks increasingly likely that it is a British citizen. Now, this is deeply shocking, but we know that far too many British citizens have travelled to Iraq and travelled to Syria to take part in extremism and violence. And what we must do is redouble all our efforts to stop people going, to take away the passports of those contemplating travel, to arrest and prosecute those that take part in this extremism and violence, to take extremist material off the internet, and do everything we can to keep our people safe. We'll stick to the very clear foreign policy and the very clear strategy that we have, which is to work with the new Iraqi government to help make sure the Kurds get the arms they need to fight off these brutal extremist militants, to work with our allies, and as I've said, to use everything that we have, our aid, our diplomacy and our military prowess, to make sure that with allies we do everything we can to put the pressure on Islamic State, this appalling organisation, and everything we can back here at home to keep our country is not going to get involved in another Iraq war. We're not putting combat troops, combat boots on the ground. That's not something we should do. We have a clear strategy. We should stick to that strategy. And specifically here at home, we have very clear laws, tough laws. And of course, we'll always look at new proposals for even tougher laws to deal with terrorism and extremism. But it's not a time for a knee-jerk reaction. It is time for what Britain always shows in these circumstances, and that is resolve. We have defeated terrorism, extremism, threats to our country before, and we will defeat them again if we show that resolve. But also patient battle we have to fight in our own country. It's a battle that with allies, using everything that we have, our aid, our diplomacy, and yes, on occasions, our military prowess, that we have to fight, whether it is dealing with this problem in Somalia, in Mali, in Afghanistan, in Iraq and Syria. Because as much as we want to focus on keeping ourselves safe here at home, and that is my focus, what happens in these other far-flung places can come back and cause us huge harm here too.
French President François Hollande has condemned what he says as the barbarity of the killers of American journalist James Foley, which according to him went as far as putting the video of his beheading on the internet. Holland says that he shares his grief of the relatives and friends of Foley, calling on all people of goodwill across the world to come together to fight the group called the Islamic State. He proposed an international conference for all countries to have a common front and strategy to fight the group, which he says is important to prevent the emergence of other equally violent groups. And that's been the show tonight. On behalf of the news crew, I am Nifemi Oguntoye. Thanks for being there. Good night.